Alright, good morning. Today I'm going to show you guys how to bottle kombucha, or at least how I bottle my kombucha, because everyone always asks. I've given out tons of starter kombuchas to people and shown a lot of people how to do this. And I think it's about time I just make a video so I can tell people, hey, just go watch the video. Bottles, you're going to need bottles for the kombucha. The kombucha itself is a nice big healthy SCOBY in there. Here we go. Agave, and I'm going to use this to put in the bottles. I use a ladle. This really helps for the big jar. For this one, this style jar, you can just kind of pour it. It's a lot easier. But funnels, that's what they're called. And they're really helpful for making things go way quicker. I like to use hibiscus flowers. I don't know what it is, but the agave and the hibiscus flowers together, you could do just agave and hibiscus flowers, and it'll be a great tasting kombucha. Today I also just blended a bunch of grapes up. All I did was just fill this up with grapes. I blended it up and it's separated. There's some juice down here, all the pulp up here. And you can separate them if you want it smoother, but I'm just going to mix it up and it's going to be kind of like a smoothie kombucha. So like a fizzy smoothie. It's kind of tasty. And of course for the refeeding of the kombucha is the sugar and some tea, which I have already brewed. And then I'm also going to do some apples as one of the flavors. I go ahead and put my ingredients inside the bottle. I stick kombucha in the bottle and then bottle it up, and I let it sit for on average 2 to 4 days depending on what's in there. You'll see it kind of bubble, open it up, and you'll kind of get the hang of it. But then when I'm filling it up, so say this is the jar that I'm doing, I would take about this much out and maybe bring it down to about this little dot. Leave about 25% left inside of here, and that's going to be your starter batch. And then I'll put in my tea, and I just put in, you can see the actual loose leaf tea that I put in, how much I put in. A little bit here, so I'll take the top off so you can see a little bit better. Woo! Alright, so it's all in there. And just a little bit of tea. I also use some fulvic acid to extract the tea out. That's why it's black. It's Herba Mate and green tea is the tea that I used. Other sites, they say if you really want to know how much, it's like 4 bags of tea equivalent. But that's how much I put in. I'll put in tea and it'll fill up probably about that much up into there. So it was down here when it's going to be done. I'll fill it up to about there. The rest of it, I'll just put in water. And so I'll just pour in some sugar, and I don't know, I forget if it's a cup or 2 cups of sugar. I just kind of eyeball it now because I've been doing it for so long. Oh yeah, another important note, when you're storing this, make sure you have like a good cheesecloth to store it in. And then what I like to do, if it's like a thin cheesecloth, like this one is over here, if it's a thin cheesecloth, I like to put a towel over it, and that just helps so that way there's no fruit flies. Because sometimes I'll be here and there's no fruit flies even around that I ever see. I open up the kombucha bottle top and I walk away for 5 minutes and come back and boom, there's fruit flies. Where did they go? Where did they come from? I have no idea. Anyways, essentially what you're wanting to do is feed this bacteria culture so they'll make more of them. You're farming them and making them healthy so that way you could eat them and you could be healthy. There's not going to be any sugar in here by the time you eat it because the bacteria is going to eat the sugar. That's why I put on the funnel. So we got this red apples, and what's really cool is this red on the outside here. When you bottle them and you put them in there, you'll notice that after like a while, if you let it sit for a while, sometimes I'll let it sit a week. I know I said 2 to 3 days earlier, 2 to 4 days, but sometimes I'll let it sit a week, and the red inside the apples will be completely gone. It'll disappear. And I think it's because the bacteria ate all of the stuff. After you're done drinking your kombucha at the end of the day, you now have a probiotic sugarless snack because the kombucha ate all of the sugar from the apple. And by the way, with this kombucha, you can drink it as it is. It's just not fizzy right now. So that's pretty good. But when it comes in here, it's going to be really tasty. Look, you can see it's already kind of fizzing, like bubbling already, because I gave it more sugar. Isn't that awesome? that's how I bottle them. So that, that part of the video is done. So I'm leaving about this much liquid in the bottom this time. Sometimes I'll take a little bit more out. I want you guys to see how easy this is. That I'm just kind of messing around with it, and sometimes I add more tea, sometimes I don't. Sometimes I add more sugar, sometimes I don't. And you can see my SCOBY, my bacteria is very healthy. And that's all good for compost. Throw away your stuff. Start throwing away all of your teas and your vegetables and other stuff. But you can just start with your teas. Just throw your teas out in your garden, and you're gonna have such an amazing garden after that because you're remineralizing the garden. How much sugar do I put in? I put in this much sugar. That should be good. That's all it takes, and I put my cheesecloth back on top and twist it on up. That's literally all it takes. It's that simple.